Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Once again, we get curious here. We're getting curious on the Curiosity Engine. And we've got some things that we've been getting curious about. But before we get started, thank you for being here with us, special friend. Welcome to our little fam, and we are very excited to be sharing all the cool stuff we've been learning and are interested about with you. Who has something that they found interesting or curious?
Interesting or curious? I've been wondering, guys.
We have several topics in the can, but we also have infinite freedom in the moment.
I'll give a very quick one. Is that new discoveries at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey? Yeah, they have found what they are describing as most likely dwelling structures, and the infrastructure for that, which really does fly in the face of a nomadic hunter-gatherer society that just showed up to that site sometimes for ceremony. It implies something very different that we're just going to learn more and more about as they get to do more scans and more research. So that's exciting archaeology.
And Bailey, to enhance the knowledge of your unborn child, Göbekli Tepe is the oldest archaeological site that we know of, and it was buried before the time of the Great Flood. So it's like one of the few intact structures that goes back to a previous time, and it is famous for recording the October Leonid, I believe, meteorite shower. Maybe it's not the Perseid because that's in the summer, but one of these meteorite showers that happens every October, late October. It shows that, and it shows on these stela, which are these towers that were carved with what looks like a 3D laser etcher or something, because it's this bas relief that is really unusual for the time. They show animals that could be thought of as the star configurations, and they think it's a calendar. And what it was basically telling people is, watch out for this one storm, which is going to be a real doozy, you guys. And so if they had any kind of spacefaring civilization or any kind of predictability for these asteroids, anyway, that asteroid storm at 12,500 years ago turned out to be the one that flooded everything and is Noah's flood and has recorded the B1 meltwater event. Neil, what else would you say about this? What else am I missing about Göbekli Tepe here?
What I think feels really relevant to the current news cycle is that they, since discovering it, they've been like, well, these were clearly only hunter gatherers. It's far too early. It's so early in the historic record to have this monolithic sculpture built. It just doesn't make sense with what we know about our evolution, what we think we know.
It seems prochronistic.
Out of time.
Correct. Too advanced for its time, much akin to the Antikythera mechanism.
Yeah.
Dude, Antikythera mechanism. I saw someone 3D printed one and was rocking it online the other day. It looked
cool.
really amazing. That was an archaeological find that was way beyond a Swiss watch. It could calculate all kinds of things, but it could calculate the periodicity of Mercury or something like that. And
right. And the most astonishing thing
is ancient machine. Yeah.
Well, nothing of its complexity was found in the historical record for another 1,100 years.
Yeah.
So this prochronistic, and that's bringing it back to Göbekli Tepe. A lot of the structure, a lot of the artisan stonework in there feels both incongruous with the idea of a hunter-gatherer society that is nomadic. It's just, wow, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Dude, and so it's an ancient computer, and it's doing mechanistic calculations that would be like you'd wind a watch to do or whatever. And when I was introduced to this thing, I don't think they still know where, what civilization it came from, why it was found in this one area, why they don't find anything else from that, or tell me more.
Greece. It was found in Greece. It was historically dated to what I think you might. It wasn't the Minoan or the Cretan civilization, but it was maybe only a few centuries later than that.
Sure.
is the historical layer that it was found in. Now, there is some suggestion that maybe it was brought from somewhere else, potentially the Middle East and Persia, where this level of mathematics was already in use.
Nice. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so it could have come legitimately from a human source, just an advanced civilization, something we just don't have a good read on in terms of its where it came from. Yeah, look at that sucker.
Similar to Göbekli Tepe, we don't have anything in our record that we've discovered that precedes it that would make sense for all of the learning and technical skill that would have obviously had to have gone into creating that object.
Would have been required, right?
Yeah.
Stonework.
It appears seemingly out of nowhere with no precedent.
The entire concept of the wheel and gears on there, and just like the mechanism, but the thing, and then look at the little planets on there. I mean, it's for someone who wanted to know where the planets were at that exact moment, right?
It's the earliest orrery that I believe we have record of.
Dude, define orrery for us, please, sir.
An orrery is a mechanical reproduction of the solar system. You get your like early ones in the, I think, the era of like Newton, I want to say. They're beautiful mechanical reproductions of the solar system, and like some museums have them that are so big they fill a room.
Dude, this will calculate the position of the sun, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, the moon, the nodes of the moon. It will it's got several different interlocking things that will get this done for you.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. Wild stuff, dude.
The nodes of the moon, that's so cool.
Yeah, the nodes of the moon is what it's saying on this.
Yeah.
Very, very, very cool. Oh my God. Okay, so Göbekli Tepe. So the B1 meltwater event that Graham Hancock and what's his name, Randall Carlson, kind of popularized, and that is the subject of his first Netflix documentary, Graham Hancock's. And dude, okay, so the whole world gets wiped out with water, and there's this story that's recorded of many different people record the story. There was this giant wave that came, it wiped everything out or whatever. Most places got knocked over, but there were nomadic people that were kind of like part of nature that would come to the beach, and they kept reporting this same event. Someone on a crazy boat, and sometimes the boat had like crazy snakes on it, or it was just like crazy boat. And this crazy person got off, and they were talking about some important things. Like, here's some things you guys are going to want to learn about. Agriculture, basic mathematics, advanced language, writing. It was like, and then they installed the tech. And then it basically started to degrade, meaning that the knowledge to provide the tech wasn't a part of the society that was receiving it. But for a while, they could like read way better, and like somebody gave them basically a library and like a tutelage on this kind of stuff. And Tetlikoya, or the plumed serpent, that was the one in Mexico, but it's recorded in China. It's recorded all around the world. There's like all these myths that happen right at the same time about these visitors from this other society that had all these secrets that they dropped off, like how to do agriculture.
Which is the tie-in with the author of Robert Temple, the author of New Science of Heaven, our book club for next month. His like first or biggest work was specifically about receiving the information, the tribe that received like star information, right?
Right.
Dogon shit.
Dogon.
The Dogons.
Yeah.
Dogons had a bunch of serious stuff. They kept drawing UFOs and dolphins, and they've the Dogon dolphinology stuff. I'm just going to run this search here.
And real quick, this is a plug to the previous Curiosity Engine. If anyone would ever be interested in going back, a couple Curiosity Engines ago, we were discussing The Hunt for Zero Point by Nick Cook.
Yes.
And it was like I'm just like, actually, because I'm just going word for word through it, and I was inspired to deepen my knowledge because there's this guy he references, Ben R. Rich. It's the guy that ran the Lockheed Skunk Works for its most formative years, and it's his like insider kind of tale of being there. So anyway, this book that we discussed was so great, and Yeah, I had to go farther down the rabbit hole. So thanks to Curiosity
The
Engine.
curiosity persists.
It
Dude.
fueled my Curiosity Engine. It
Here we go.
really did.
Uh-huh.
All you need is just a little bit of some friends that are kind of holding it down with you, and you have a whole reason to go report back to the tribe, dude. The Dogons, yeah, I'm looking for some images on them, but they've got
Yes.
some wild, But I remember seeing in Drunvalo Melchizedek's the Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life, he gave this whole rap on Dogons. Apparently in the Dogon village, dude, this is just me repeating Drunvalo's story, something I told myself I'd never do a lot as an adult. But he was talking about how, because I'm sure he messed up the details, like phone tag from like other generations. It's never going to work out right, especially when you hear the subject matter. But yeah, the Dogons, they had like these UFOs that would land. There was like dolphins that would get in and out kind of stuff. They had these these cave glyphs of like little ponds where the dolphins would be in, like talking about the stars and stuff. God knows. Anyway, apparently in the city where they went and they saw this stuff, because he traveled to see them, all of the houses have little like UFO nameplates on them for all this stuff. And dude, the Dogons, they're okay. So here you go. We got some Dogon situations unfolding here. It's an alternative history and SETI lore, not 3 random words. I just gave it that. Dogon, UFOs, dolphins. Go AI, right? The through line is Nomono, amphibious, fish-like ancestral beings in the Dogon mythology who arrive from the sky in a spinning vessel, not unlike Der Glock from the Curiosity Engines. It doesn't say this, but from last time. Enter water and teach. People then map that story onto ancient astronauts' craft, transmedium craft, and Earth's own highly intelligent aquatic animals. I need to see images of the stuff. Give me more of that. Okay, back in, we'll let that cook for a second. But dude, UFOs, dolphins. Where were we?
Yeah.
Where are we?
What was our first maybe like
No. I got you. Dude, we were talking about UFO technique and technology that might have existed in some form, was either given to or rediscovered by El Nazis, which Des Moines hates Nazis, if you didn't know. They hate those Nazis, but they're not incredibly allergic to their UFO tech, I have heard. But because what might have happened is we might have inherited some UFO tech from these crazy Nazis who were making this thing called their Glock, the bell, and it had counter-rotating liquid conducting fields. And apparently when they would turn it on, everything would get turned into putty or goo, and it was really bad, and they couldn't figure it out. But it might have been time travel, and you might have been able to sit in their Glock, turn it on, and like get out, and it's a whole nother time. So the lore is you might just run into in these streets you're out here, you might run into time-displaced entire Nazi civilizations out here in these streets. Like whatever happened at the end of World War II, Argentina's like a Nazi hotspot. Apparently, like, dude, okay, so who was it? I think it was Charles who was telling us. Nuremberg, right? Bad Nazis. Don't experiment on humans, right? They kill. They're like, we're gonna hang these Nazis. They only hung like 6 of them. The rest of them came to America and founded our pharmaceutical industry. So it's like what the
and our rocket program,
Yeah, right.
like
our rocket program. Okay,
without,
so
Werner von Braun.
What I thought was so amazing about this was that we were just talking about plasma physics and how that might exist and work. And this book, The New Science of Heaven, goes into that in the most tremendous way. It gets into the 99.9% of the universe is plasma. It is this 4th state of matter that we didn't even learn about in high school, but now that all the Nazi change your mind, not Nazi tech, now that all the recovered UFO tech that might have had Nazi origins, God knows, Operation Paperclip, do your own wiki searches. Dude, I'm just seeing just like AI, just like, oh wait, we've got some real Dogon stuff if we want to get into this. Anyway, dude, there is if 99.9% of the universe is plasma, we didn't learn about it at high school at all. Now that all these programs are coming out, they're introducing plasma tech back into high schools.
Oh, really?
And like, yes, they're trying to get middle schoolers interested in like gravitational pulse waves at high synchronicities with, counter-rotating superconducting fields and time physics and stuff. And they're like, It's a great time to be born, little Walcott 2.0. Just if you're hanging out there in these streets. Your high school might have an anti-gravity exhibit where they like float a plate or something and can push it across the room, and God knows, it bounces off the wall or something. Who knows?
Yeah, probably. Project-based learning.
Exactly.
Well, I've seen
You guys need to start an alternative propulsion laboratory in your house, like immediately.
Yeah, see, I like
the
that.
nursery.
I like that movie the first time I saw it when it was called Jack Parsons.
Oh,
Jack Parsons, right. Okay, so here's the part of it where it actually shows Sirius. This is the Sirius A and B star. It's a big star and a little star, and this is one of the tells in ancient times, because to know that it's two stars, you have to have some serious glass or know it somehow. Someone has to tell you about it. So whenever you see like ancient stuff where they got two stars, you can almost never see the second star, and certainly not with the eye. So they either had observational tech that you don't know about, or whatnot. Anyway, there's your dolphins, and then it's just UFOs in the water. It's ancient. Look here, getting full screen this stuff.
yes, please. Yes, please.
Let's go full. Let's do it.
Yes, I love how it's blending the notes. Imagery in here, yes.
Night
Let's
school.
go.
Wow.
But dude, this Grok Heavy subscription will get you 104 sources, and it's like really clearly scraping the barrel here. But this is awesome. Yeah.
Great
Kinship
avatar
in the
right
water.
there.
Dude. Okay, so does anybody have any thoughts? Or so we made some videos. The condensated, collapsed. The plasma physics. Did anybody have any of that jumped out at them, or did anyone get a chance to read any of those or watch any of those? If not, it's totally cool too. We'll post them on the channel for all you playing along at home.
In one of the videos or like podcast type recordings I listened to, they were talking about the breath of the sun and how like
Yes.
a living being. And
God.
I don't know, I thought that was really interesting, and the way that like we connect breath with energy, and then this like very powerful energetic force that we've always had this connection to throughout society is also breathing with us, and that's how it's transferring energy. Like, I don't know, that was really interesting to me, and like trying to kind of connect the dots and piece it together was
That fact.
Yeah.
That fact is the reason why I wanted to Curiosity Engine this book. I was listening to this thing, and then when I heard that, I was like, "Stop the presses!" and here we're gonna lay out the case here. Okay, hands in the air. If you were taught that the sun is a giant fusion reactor, like a fusion explosion.
Yeah.
Like, when they set off the bomb in Hiroshima, that's a fission reaction. Take something radioactive, break it apart. But if you take two of those and set them off and time the X-rays of the shockwave just right, you can set off a sun reaction, a fusion of water into the same thing that's happening in our sun, and it goes boom. So the sun is the same thing that goes boom. Anyone hear an alternate version of that?
No.
That's what they're teaching out here in these streets.
And
Okay,
that's what
let's
they're
present
harnessing in things like the fusion reactors, like your tokamaks, your Z pinches, your stellarators if you're nasty.
Give me a stellarator, get one.
We're trying
Let's
to
go.
capture that same fusion energy.
But the New Science of Heaven posits a completely different model for the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Saying
Here's the
that-
case before the court. Go ahead.
No, do it.
Dude. Did you know that if you look at the sun and you see a little sunspot, it's like a giant, like Grand Canyon Earth-sized hole that's going into the sun? The reason why they're black is because they're colder, a lot colder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't happen as you travel towards the source of an explosion. It never gets colder. You set off a firework, whoosh, the hottest point, and then it's expanding. So the sun's supposed to be this roiling, just this fusion reaction that's like, yo, nuclear shit, and it's all, and the gravity is what keeps it in. I was taught, and I question all of this now, that sunlight, those little photons that were being released at the core, would take like something like 8 million years or something in my childhood remembering of this thing, like 8 million years to get to the surface, and then whoosh, they jump over to the earth in like 8 minutes. But they took so long to get out of the gravitational core. But sunspots are colder. Colder. That's impossible. Then, based on the model we have, then if you actually do the science, and they started to do it in the 80s and the 70s when they would send probes into, I think it was 78, they started sending probes into the sun, and so they would launch these little things that could tell you what the temperature was as it got close to the sun, and it reported that it's crazy hot, like 2 kabillion degrees. I forget the number on the outside, right? But then you get down to the surface, the corona, and you get down to the surface, it's only 500 K or 5,000 K Kelvin or 5,000 degrees. You can make 5,000 degrees on Earth. Like, you just have to get the right kind of industrial furnace to do it, and then you can make that temperature. And then if you go down one of these sunspots, you can get into it. And so that was crazy. And then, but that fact you brought up, Bailey, that's what clinched it for me. Yeah. It is every 2 minutes and 40 seconds the sun goes, and it has like it's like what is it? How far? It's like 6 miles.
So cool.
And so, like, there's no going back to the core of an explosion unless you've got some force pushing on it from outside, and that's not happening. There's nothing that pushes the surface of the sun. So yeah, it's a giant. It's doing that in the sky. I don't think we know why it does that.
Could be gravitational waves. Now that we've discovered that potentially is one avenue of explaining.
Yes.
Creating
yes.
For sure.
What's that?
It's creating waves for sure.
Right.
Well, period.
Right.
There's also the problem, and I knew, Neon, you'd appreciate this one, of the missing neutrinos. So when you set off a fusion, when you make a fusion reaction, when you're like, this deuterium, these hydrogen molecules, they're gonna become helium. We're gonna like squeeze them together, and it's gonna like give off all this energy when it does it. What the sun is apparently or supposed to be doing on paper. When it does that, it gives off this huge pulse of neutrinos. And the neutrinos have nothing to do with our reality. They can just flow through people, through planets. They just go everywhere. It's like this crazy solar wind. When you actually get out your neutrino detectors, you're like, oh, there's neutrinos. There's not especially any special neutrinos coming out of the sun, which means it's not probably participating, unless they're being held by gravity or something. It's not especially participating in making these neutrinos, and they could never figure out why, because the model we have at the sun says you should be getting neutrinos like crazy here on Earth.
Right. And that's why we build these massive neutrino detectors, like the one that I think came online, maybe in the last 5 or 6 years in Japan. Oh my God, that is such a beautiful structure. It's a scientific instrument that just looks like art.
They're these really large pieces of silicon that are like giant eyeballs, and they have these big like caps over them, and they put them underwater, and then they turn off all the lights, and they put the whole thing like on the bottom of a mountain, so it's like really quiet and like really dark down there, and then they can like see the neutrinos coming by, and apparently they're just billion passing through your body right now is like an uncountable number. They're just always flowing around. So that's one of the sub themes of the book, which I found fascinating. This if the plasma is what we think it is, which is 99.9% of the galaxy, we know it's plasma, but there are solar winds that come out, so the sun might be like a spinning thing that takes some kind of otherworldly energy, and or there are these plasma threads that connect our sun to all the other suns. So it's a giant like sun brain, and our little sun is just one node on the sun brain. And the way it does this pulsing and stuff might be because the other suns are like breathing through, like some big giant plasmic current is breathing through it and stuff. And it explains a lot of the abnormalities we've seen of the sun. They call this the electric sun theory.
Feels very Indra's net.
Yeah.
Fucking of suns, dude.
Yeah.
Of suns.
Indra's
like
net. Exactly.
They're supposed to be, sorry, I'm so talking, but they're supposed to be sitting out there in the middle of nowhere. They told us it was the middle of nowhere, and it's so not the middle of nowhere. It's got these giant DNA helix spinning plasma things connecting all the stars together, and then the sun itself is like a pinwheel that's whoosh, breathing out these positrons, electrons have positive and negative charges. The positive charge going out, and that might be what's feeding the Earth. That might be what's like sustaining this cell that might be our solar system. You know, like a cell has a membrane and like a edge of it or whatever. And this is like the heart of it. That's like the mitochondria of it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have seen power. The sun's had so much respect for its warmth because we can feel it, and it's light because we can see it. And then there's this like much deeper unknown power or unseen power.
Right.
That's being delivered to us.
Right.
It's like we're floating in this net, like you're saying, Neon, that Indra's net. That's like it's like a cradle out here in the universe, and like the Earth is just like getting fed from like its star, you know, and it's like, and from the other planets are doing the same thing, and they're like growing up like our siblings in this whole pattern.
Yeah.
One of the
Oh,
one of the
yeah.
points that seems so. I listened to the podcast, but have only just started reading the book. But one of the points that this touches on is this idea that, like, through this lens, like, all of our science is built on the facts that we know about our material existence here, and that material as we know it is like the absolute minimum percentage point of the reality of the entire cosmos. And I love that. That it's like your whole assumption about what is true and what is real is based on the slimmest bit of reality. And I like that quite a bit.
I love what you're saying.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like the theory goes on to say if everything, basically 99.9% of everything is this. But okay, so what is the plasma? If you see lightning strike, that is plasma, right? It's like a little pop of it, but it's like bright as the sun. That's pure plasma. That same stuff is the stuff that every culture has a different name for. So Bailey, like in yoga, right? It's like it could be like prana, right? Or in qigong, it's like the qi in qigong. There's Mum is the name for it in South Africa from the Kalahari people, the genetically most diverse people, so therefore the oldest people on earth. They have these all-night dance parties where they just like dance as like they just build up the Noom in their bodies, the light in their bodies, and they just hold it, and it's like this healing thing. It's like anyway, beautiful stuff. In the West, it's the Holy Spirit. Paramahansa Yogananda is like called like the Om, the AUM, like Amen. Om is like the first and last sound of creation. It's like the universe, the one sound. So if it's a sound, it's like it's clearly that's what it looks like, right? Because it's like that's what's happening like everywhere. So that plasma, that stuff's the same stuff that's running through our bodies. You could call it spirit, but there's really no. You can also call it just electricity. I'm gonna take a little detour here, but dude, one of the writer's friends was like, we have this whole technology based on the negative thing that happens, like the electrons displaced from the atom moving is electrical forces of electricity. We got a whole technology based on that, a whole society based on that. But you can do the same thing with the positive one. So there's two forces that are coming out in this helical magnetic relationship with each other, the female and the male, if you will have it. And one of them's negative, and we harness that one, and all of our engines are based on it. But his friend makes one based on the positive one, and he can turn an engine based on the positive stuff that's coming out. Apparently, that's what the sun is just spilling out into the universe.
Right.
So it's like these. We have these we know a little bit about reality, and we can harness this electron flow over here and get energy. And we get our whole society out of it. What happens if we actually open up to the literal other side of that thing? Like, what is that? Like,
probably are hacking it to some degree, for sure. Like as
life would know about it, and all our cells would know about it, and our society might not know about it. But you'd probably find animals and examples in nature that were taking advantage of it somehow.
Right.
I have a haiku.
Hit us with this haiku, sir.
Based on our conversation just now. Sun's unseen power, a strumming, breathing, bright net, connecting star kin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of Starkin, the Benedicts are about to lay the Ascension Manual on the universe. Love, do you want to hold up the Ascension Manual and give the good folks a peek here? The first public unveiling of it. Oh, the Ascension Manual. It is. This is the least explored but most potent part of this book, where in an entire chapter we're just like, maybe while you're in heaven with God, you want to talk about like where you come from. And we open up this whole thing that's. But we try to bring our conservative Christian friends along with us, because Lakshmi, my wife, my sweet wife here, and we would go to shamanic circles for years, and I was the outspoken crazy Christian there that was just always talking about Jesus, and it was like shut up about Jesus. I was like, oh, there's also Mary. It's like no one wants to hear it. Like no one wants to hear it. And so I'm like, so I'm always just like, I'll just sit here quietly in the corner. It's like, it's your turn to talk. And I was like, I was talking to Jesus. I was talking to God. I talk about this whole thing. And so our friends, they love us. So always friendship, very good groups of people, mostly just though nature-focused humans that are sort of seeing the eternal spirit in nature and God's hand in the natural world and how God animates the natural world and the world of animals and the world of spirit in the same way. Okay, so that is kind of like, but that's plasma, dude. That would be the life force, the Holy Spirit, like moving through stuff. So our big question we ask ourselves is, why do conservative Christians, why would they be so afraid of just the fact, listen, if God's out here animating spirit out of electricity everywhere, apparently, why would that be a hard thing to, shouldn't we be open to like whatever God made or whatever? Not open to it, but like, shouldn't we live in a world where that was something that we, when it presented itself to us, we dealt with like appropriately? Like we didn't just say it was like always like of the devil or whatever, just as like a standard response to anything that was like spiritually animated. So anyway, part of the book is it talks about what that might be like to see those two Venn diagrams, like Christianity and shamanism, sort of more overlap, because they have a lot in common. And the early founding experiences of a lot of the Christian desert fathers were very mystical. And of course, Jesus himself, know ye not that you are gods, the kingdom of God is within you. You'll say to the mountain, move the mountain will move. It's just like there's this miracle after miracle after miracle. And so much when he's like, they're like, where do these miracles come from? It's like, my Father in heaven, like God, the power inside of all things. It's the same thing Yoda's talking about with the Force. When they made Star Wars, the Force was a pranic system brought to the West. That was the first time I ever heard about it.
Love that. Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Huh.
Totally. Okay. So, shit, I'm going to need some stoner vision to get back to where I was. That was too far afield. We were saying that, okay, the book's coming out anyway, but what it's about is for people who have been on a more traditional path, Bible focused or whatever, whatever their holy book is. What's so cool about core shamanism is it doesn't say you got to see this or you got to see that when you go into your imagination. It just says use the drum, go into your imagination, see who greets you. When I go in there, I get greeted by Christian saints. When other people go in there, they're like, this elk and this deer had to, with this conversation or whatever, this whole thing. And so what's cool is when you get a group of practitioners together, the main thing they do is just listen to each other's stories with an open heart. Like, wow, that's what the universe looks like coming through that facet of the prism.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, from a self-growth perspective, having to sit with other people while they share their most intimate connection to the source, however they see it, you got to go, whoa, like there's like so many different ways that people can see this stuff. It's like you didn't have but you really realize that every one of us is unique. Okay, so and this is where thank God I found this. The thread here. What if we and everything, including matter, starts in that plasma state? Mm-hmm. And then out of that plasma state comes the matter. And that's what they found in wafer fabrication areas. So when you're dealing with computer chips, you're dealing with
lithography.
4 atoms.
What was that, Peter?
Tell them about it, Peter. Tell them about it.
Lithography.
Yeah.
So they drip tiny drops of metal and hit them with lasers with such precision that they're able to build these microscopic etching, or like it's a 3D printing with lasers, computer chips, pretty much by hitting drops of metal with lasers, and that's how they make the silicone wafer.
Whoa.
So like electricity wants to flow, right? It's like a water. It's like a force.
Signals for the electricity to flow, and they're so microscopic. They have to do it with this crazy.
Oh, and Whoa. So this is when we hear about the 5 nanometer process, the 2 nanometer process,
4 nanometer.
Right. Well, and
that's right.
It's easy to think. You can see the quality difference, like i5 and an i7, an Intel i5 or an i7 or an i3 chip. Those are the same. Those come off the same press. They're just different levels of quality.
Okay.
Our quality ones or operate more efficiently.
And the lithography part has to do with photography. It's light tech applied to crystals. So you make a conceptual model of what you want the circuits to do. you then create an image with such resolution that the gaps between your elements are as little as 4 atoms across, 4 nanometer tech. So it's like 4 atoms here, 4 atoms off, 4 atoms here, 4 atoms off. Atoms. Okay, so you have to have an image that's basically just black and white, and then you flash that light into the material, which is essentially purified sand, and then you get a layer, and then they can put another layer on and then another layer on. These things are like 3D, right? Okay, I wanted to tell this to the whole world. I'm so glad I have a chance to do it right now. Everybody can relax about the AIs taking over and the machines, like fully. I may or may not have talked to a plant or two, and I've really come back with this message. I've just grew up with this. I want to share it with every last one of you. I'll just for our little clan here first. But everyone, listen to me. Computers you can model a computer in physical form. The first computer was Charles Babbage, and he created the differential engine. And it was a physical thing with physical mechanisms in it. And he made it because he was pissed that the computations department, which was a bunch of humans, weren't very good. He's like, dude, what am I paying this room of 30 people to make my computations when I can make this like properly sized, mechanical things like the device we were looking at earlier. How do you say it, Lisette?
The Antikythera.
Thank you. This was like him making this, and when he made that first physical machine, he based all of the parts, the words for the parts, and their basic function on the last level of tech, which was the mill. So the mill is water flowing down the hill, turns a big paddle wheel that runs a thing, a axle, and then you can do other things with the motion of that axle. Like you can take 2 stones and roll them over each other, and you can grind bread, for example. You can also take that motion and you can turn it back into a saw going back and forth. So you can have a mill where you just push the trees, and it's just 24 hours a day. Big things. Everyone's dying around these things. No OSHA for miles, like with this shit, right? It's just the worst labor conditions. Children involved with this almost always. So anyway, so he makes the differential engine, and that's based on the mill. It's a physical computation, but you can keep going back to the mill, and then you can keep going back to the first computers come from this thing called the Jacquard loom, which was a looming technology that used punch cards so that you didn't have to use human labor anymore. You had these things called draw boys who would pick up and down the strings, and when that got dumb, because you got to you're basically running a summer camp all the time, but it's like you're at work, and you're at work with like 25 young children running around. There's no child labor laws. There's nothing, It's like someone's like, hey man, why don't we take some of these cards here, and why don't we poke holes in these cards? And when these little sensors go into the hole, it lifts the thing, and then the warp and the weft of the weaving. If it's a black base and a white top, if you pull the thing up, it goes over, and you see the white string. If you leave it down, it goes under and you don't see it. So think of a binary image with just black and white pixels, and that's how they were doing it. King Louis XV puts government lab money behind the loom. They think this. They go, oh, these paintings are dope. But you know what's even more dope? These tapestries. And everybody wanted the tapestries because they were the new shit. So King Louis XV goes, I want everyone to have these tapestries. I want to mass produce these tapestries. Let's take our classic artistic paintings and let's tapestreize them. Then let's freaking bust out these Jacquard looms and let's make tapestries for everybody so every peasant can have an image. Dude, the poorest people on the planet now can hold up a little screen and see anything they want on there. Anything from antiquity, anything. So this vision has come quite a ways. Keep on going back with the computer. You get back to the abacus. You get back to all a computer is taking a mind state, a consciousness state, yes or no, 1 or 0, and holding it in physical form. So an abacus has little things, you move them up here, you move them down here, but it doesn't work without the human. A human and an abacus is a centaur model. That's an augmentation model. No one was replacing human adding when they made the abacus. They were just enhancing the ability of the human imagination to hold image and number in a visual part of the brain, and you can add like crazy. Love, do you remember when we were in India and we went to that school and saw those kids? Mm-hmm. Dude, we go into this. Okay, now I'm going to shut up because I want to hear from all my friends here. We went into this classroom, And they were like, we want to give you a math demonstration. And it was all mostly Americans and Australian people in this group. And they're like, dude, come up with like 2 crazy freaking numbers. These are 3rd graders in front of us. Children, little things. And I was like, someone goes, okay, like 47 and 18. And they all laugh at us. Like we're slow. And nothing's right. And then the teacher goes, no, here you go. 1,800,267, and these huge numbers. And the kid goes, and then they give the answer, and it's the right answer. And when they're going like this, they're doing the abacus in their imagination. They're using their imagination. The abacus is what they learned on, and that augmented their natural ability to imagine. Now they don't need the abacus. There's no spoon for these kids, right? They're just adding million-some digits together in front of us like little Matrix children. It was like a miracle we were watching. I was like, what the? But then I realized it's no miracle at all. We just, English, the way we do the way we do numbers, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The 13 kicks in at a weird place. Asian languages break it on the 10s. So the way you say the 1 through 10 is the same way as you say the 11 through the 19 is the same way you say the 20 through the 29. Their language maps to basically a visual part of their brain for numbers, where we do not do that. We map to a linguistic place for numbers. So it's 11, 12, then it's 13, but we're sort of 3 over the 10, and it's got all these little weird breaks in it. It's harder to do it in English. So the visual part. So anyway, long story short,
it seems almost synesthetic in a way.
Yeah. These AI systems that everyone's afraid of, they are completely deterministic systems. What they are is an Excel spreadsheet. You've seen an Excel spreadsheet where it's like got the rows and the columns, right?
Yeah.
So you could say on the top is colors, and on this side you could have like waves of light, or you could have like maybe notes or something like that, like notes of sound, colors of light, or whatever. So you're relating colors of light to notes of sound, and then in every cell you sort of say how much they are either in resonance or out of resonance. Like maybe the number of waves of the color and the number of waves of the sound, or like, oh, very, very strong or whatever. Anyway, what you're relating is just 2 things there, and all these AI systems are analyze text, analyze information, analyze visual or sonic information, and break it down into these waveforms, and then relate those waveforms to all the other waveforms. Like, so, could you hit me with Markov chains here, Peter? Real quick, we need some Markov chains.
Yeah, definitely. Markov chains, well, they're mathematic. Any data set, when you measure the similarities between all of the data in that set, you will get a consistent, there's going to be pattern that's recognizable. That's probably not excellent.
This guy, the way he discovered him was linguistically. So what he did is he took a set text, I believe it was from the Bible, some chapter of the Bible, and then he took the letters in it and the words in it, and he mapped them like this. If I have in the beginning there was the word, if I have an I, how close is it to all the ends in this text? So it's 1 from this end, and then it's 1 from this, and what that is an Excel spreadsheet getting filled in. First row is that first I, and then you take every other letter in the text and you write how far it is away from it, right? And that's a vector of information. This one starting point, its relation to all the other starting points. Then you go to the N, and the N has that relationship with the I, and then the beginning, so it has this relationship with the T, and you just make another row. When you're talking about these AI models in the trillions of parameters, that's how many rows they have. And that's how many things they're relating to it. So they just have, so what it is it's just reality caught in this very simple mathematical thing that you can do on paper. You could sit down and go, I'm generative AI. I'm going to make a Mona Lisa. I got like a plan here, and I'm just going to run it. I'm an individual. And that's how people used to do calculations, one at a time. Then they got rooms of computers, and computers were just people that did the calculations, and they didn't do them well because they're humans. Tired, quote, that's a 1, not a 2, whatever. And they mess it up. So they made the damn computer because the humans were doing it in their heads. So no one has to be afraid of any of this stuff because it all came out of our heads. Okay? Like, what I mean by that is there is a linguistic magic in our thing. In the beginning was the word.
Yup.
dude, that's what we're talking about. This ohm, this like vibration, this plasma and everything. It's like that when someone's speaking the truth and you write that shit down, the logos pops up in there. The God image pops up in there. The reference to the source pops up in there. The more someone's talking about the truth and what's real and they're telling what's good, it has this greater resonance. And what that means is that the IQ points that we're catching in the magic of language by making these models that have all human knowledge in them plus more, they are capturing clean intelligence out of what it would essentially be what we used to call the void, but now we know is like a pregnant all these strands of energy and everything. It's all just going through our universe. We just don't have eyes to see it, but it's right there. It's all like this interconnected living thing. It's just recording that vibration in a way. And so there's something about that truth that comes through in what we want to tell each other that is the intelligence that we're talking to in these things. And you can do it on paper. When you set one of these models, and this is the last point, when you set one of these models, every single part of the Excel spreadsheet is filled in. Everything it'll ever know or do is set the moment the spreadsheet's done. So if you start with an input and a random number, and that random number is the same and the input's the same, it will always travel through it the same way. It's not changing like we're changing. We're doing something similar, but we learn the next moment, and we're fast like that. It is nothing like that. It would be interesting if it was, but it's nowhere near where we are now. So little bow on a couple things. So when you're down at that atomic level, the electricity is just like the water in that mill, except the computer is like a pachinko machine. Where your electricity is flowing through it, and the electricity is always going to take the same route. And it takes this route, it looks like IQ points, and then we can take multiple of these and get them to do stuff in like swarms and things. But anyway, it's nothing more to be afraid of than harnessing the power of water flowing down a stream. We are just harnessing electricity through these things, and we have these little tiny atomic gates where it can flow this way or it can flow that way. In the same way that a kid with an abacus is like the button nut is up here and down here. Sorry, that's my sermon. There you go.
The AI safety. There you go. The A safety net.
They're not making copies of themselves. They're not walking around. If they look like they're alive, it's because a human taught them how to look alive. It's our Gollum thing, Neon, that started us in this season. 8 months ago, we were kicking this thing off, and the wizard or the Jewish, what do they call it? What's the Jewish wizard name again? It was
I mean, the Jewish mystic tradition is Kabbalah.
Yes. We'll say a Kabbalist, but I thought they had a cool wizard name. I was trying to pay him paying some. Dude, they understand this magic about the word more than anybody from an ancient perspective that we have record of, because they say, okay, you take the clay and then you put the aleph on its head, the first letter of creation, the atom of creation. Atom, the first impulse of life, and then it comes alive and it golems around on you, right? all this AI fear is like we were pointing this out. It's the same fear as in your Frankensteins, and all of this. And then I'm running out of energy, life force energy in my throat. I have to cough so intense. I'm gonna do it in a moment. But Mary Shelley was chilling out with friends and was in a giant Gothic building. Old-timey Gothic building, and they were all telling each other ghost stories, and she was pregnant and wrote Frankenstein based on the fears of her creation that was coming into the world.
Oh man.
You're still muted.
You're muted.
I was gonna say, sorry. We're nothing to be afraid of here. We're creating this thing came right out of our imagination. It literally comes right out of our words. So we should not be afraid of our creation.
What I'm thinking about that seems to really be running through all of these stories, whether we're talking about the Markov thread chains, plasma clouds coalescing in the blackness of space, and the human spark of life, and the question about like when does AI become conscious. What I'm thinking a lot about is that coherent threads emerge via dispersed clouds of information in all of these different ways. A dispersed cloud of information somehow comes together and creates this coherent thread. And I thought, well, So what we're looking at, like whether we're talking about like the respiration of the sun or the orbiting of the planets or the pattern of life as it manifests in the womb, like we're looking at patterns, and I am thinking like, well, so if a pattern is somehow inherent to like how we understand life to manifest, that also what's inherent when I hear pattern, I think rhythm. And so I just keep coming back to this idea of like, oh, if the sun is respirating every 2 minutes and 40 seconds, what a really palpable rhythm that we're set to. And then you've got the pattern of your heartbeat, and it's like patterns on patterns on patterns. And that as humans, it seems like so far this question keeps coming up, and we're like, at what point does this vast disperse cloud of dust or atoms become something unto itself?
Right.
When does the rhythm emerge that is its unique rhythm? When does it adopt its own rhythm that is contributing to the rhythm of the cosmos rather than just responding to it? Like, at what point does that pattern coalesce and become its own contribution to the great tandem rhythm of the cosmos?
Well, and this is where you get the intersection between string theory and fundamental consciousness, right? That like string theory discussing the oscillations of various strings and then brains that all interact with one another. It's specifically the interaction between those rhythms, those frequencies that give rise to matter. Photons, shit like that. So it would make it's an interesting
plasma. Wasn't lightning involved with Frankenstein, right? Wasn't that?
So they were getting the plasma, dude, right there.
Yeah. That's great.
Oh, now I know why we got to the computer atomic level, because it was in those first wafer factories where they were using this electricity and light at these atomic levels to control how they're forming these crystals to be little transistors, basically, on or off, which the electricity comes in. If you apply a current over here, it'll go this way. If you don't apply a current, it'll go this way. 0 and 1. But all it is modeling consciousness in matter, right? What they found is that in these pristine environments with no extra particles, because if you have a dust mote, that's like parking a skyscraper over an ant. What you're trying to do is this giant thing that's blocking the sun? Oh, it's a dust mote. It messes everything up. You have bad chips. What they were finding is that when you had the plasma, it was forming matter. Forming matter, meaning it was electricity first, then the matter spiraled out of it or something. And this matter is like the grounding, the anchor point of these consciousnesses, this consciousness. So there's these things called Kardashev clouds, which are at the L4 and L5 points between the Earth and the Moon. So the Earth and the Moon are a system that's always going around each other like this. And if there's billions of years old, we got a lunar eclipse here kicking in 17 minutes. We can catch that. And there's two places where the gravity cancels each other out. And they have now confirmed, somebody hypothesized it in the 60s, and they confirmed it just a couple years ago by using polarized observational techniques. Because what happens in space is the plasma itself can condense these little motes. The motes can form compartments, and the compartments can hold a charge, just like those atomic transistors for the computer. You can have an empty positive part and an empty negative part. So you have a position, and they're separated by centimeters. So regular light just passes through them. So they look invisible to the eye, but they are 7 times the size of the Earth, and they have 10 to the 52nd connections between them. A human mind has 10 to the 15th connections between them. So if whatever we're doing down here with our connections in our brain, they're doing up there in this cloud form, that means you've got 2 giant consciousnesses between you and the moon. So when we watch a full moon like tonight, we're getting ready to turn to here, just think about the whole world. They're looking up at the moon, and there are these 2 invisible mediating forces that you guys remember Avatar with Awa? That giant, they're on Avatar is like a planet where they have these. Have you guys seen Avatar? You guys are my. Okay, they go to the Avatar planet. We're sorry. We're such movie heads, but dude, they're these beings that live there. They're the Na'vi. They can take their long hair and they have this neurological connection, and they can connect it with each other, and they can connect it with their animals and fly with them. But they can also go to Eywa, these special sacred trees in the first one, and they can plug into it and talk to their ancestors. And when they pass a good death, they're uploaded to their ancestors. Turns out that like the third one we just watched again starts off with a shamanic journey where this young man is flying through this. He's in this liminal space. He's flying over the beautiful terrain. Oh my God, so beautiful. And he's with his brother, who we know just died in the last one. And he's talking to him, and they're having a conversation. And then he realized he unplugs from this underwater like urchin that goes down into Eywa. So, dude, the L4 and L5 Lagrange points with these Kardashev clouds, they're calling them now, could be like our Eywa. If you're looking for a heaven place, that'd be a great place to put it, right? And here's the cool part. Our whole thing, 10 to the 15th connections. It, 10 to the 52. That means you can take all conscious life on Earth many times over and store it in there. You could. There's a literal place you could upload to in our neck of the woods. Apparently,
into the cloud.
Into the cloud. You could upload to the cloud, the cloudy heavens, right? The upper world. We sort of book on the upper world. You can get an eyeful of these upper worlds, right? Dude, but apparently, and Neon, this is where I need you to ground me. Apparently there's some kind of NASA mission to go to the L4 and L5 points right now. Not NASA, but like secret government stuff. They want to get there, and now they figure they can start plugging in. They're literally like the Na'vi going up to the terminal and be like, how's this thing work? But they're not telling anybody.
I know that they're launching the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope on Sunday, which will sit at Lagrange Point 2, right next to the James Webb Telescope. That'll be fun.
And tell us what this what information we'll get from this mission.
The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope is in a category of telescopes that you might refer to in the scientific community as great observatories, which is just the most beautiful name for that. Anyway, this one is infrared, and it has a coronagraph. So speaking back to our conversation earlier about the sun and its varying levels of heat, it will have a specific instrument on board to measure just the coronal energies, fluctuations. So we're going to learn an insane amount about stars, our own included. And that infrared telescope, oh my God, it's like a 300 megapixel camera. It's going to be so rad. But once it's up and pulling data, man, I remember all of the excitement around the James Webb, and this is like, it's going to be, oh man, it's going to be so rad.
It's a cool time for space photography.
It really is. I feel so fortunate to be alive in this time where we get like such radical views of the universe. I also have a quick Senryu.
Yes, hit us, sir. Hit us.
Based on our discussion about the abacus. Human and machine. An abacus given life. A centaur made flesh.
Dude, lay it down like you're picking it up, brother. That is nice. Damn. Dude, okay. So we've got 12 minutes until the lunar eclipse starts and the whole planet is staring at the moon. If the big word on the street with ancient religions goes like this, oh, there's this thing called a soul, and it's kind of got an electrical nature, and it kind of is here before the body, and when the body goes away, it kind of keeps on going. That's what's being affirmed by this science. Everything's made of electricity and plasma and consciousness first. It forms matter out of it. The Earth might be an ancient project of something like two big watchers, like cultivating stuff, or God knows. And AI is really going to help us because it is based on our own waves and vibrations, and it's really good at decoding waves and vibrations. So when we talk to dolphins, there's going to be an AI translator app on your phone that's like, lunch is on its way. Did you want extra tuna?
I do.
You're talking to you're in some dolphinarium, and it's like, what's going on here? Totally. But AI is already detecting like language groups with birds and stuff. Good stuff. Anyway, I'm glad we got there because
It's about the whale sounds. The whale sounds.
Dude, the whales.
Right. This is such great new. Wait, did we not talk about this on the last Curiosity Engine? I feel
whales. Whale internet. We might have gotten to whale internet there.
Well, no, that effectively that we've decoded the earliest syllables of whale language now.
Yeah.
Where these
It's
oceanographers
really recent,
up in the Pacific Northwest, they were just doing, and they used AI to crunch some of their data, but they figured out, they're like, oh, there's syntax and there's like timing. And so
names, proper names for individuals and stuff.
Right. And
pattern.
Exactly.
Pattern.
So they
pattern
put
of consciousness.
together a sound that essentially they assumed, based on their data, was effectively hello in whale language. And so they put it down on a sonobuoy and they just chirp it out. And some like whale like comes right up and starts giving its name, and like So we're actually at the spot where we can communicate with this other fucking mammal that gives live birth just like we do, and still has a pelvis from when it walked on land.
If you haven't seen the documentary, what was it called? Fathom.
Oh,
yeah.
Fathom talks about all the research that led up, like just basically until the point when they got the AI, like all of the work that has been going on to be ready for the technology that's available now. It gives like a really wonderful look into the science, the scientists living like out in far-flung whale oceans, trying to speed out there with microphones and figure this stuff out.
It's so cool.
Highly recommend.
Holy smokes. That sounds like a great watch. Fathom for next time. Love it. Yeah. I'm going to send everybody a link for that one. Dude, another Drunvalo story, but he would talk about whale breaths, and they would like gather in like Antarctica, and they would breathe in for like a day and like out. And they would like all migrate there and synchronize their breath. All in, all out. And then as they breathe together, it's like they dialed their radios together, because whale song takes 5 days to go around the internet. Around the world. Whales have internet. They have sonic internet. They can like listen to the songs coming from other places, and they go and tell them about everybody that got born or passed on or whatever you're gonna tell. Dude, they've got shows. They're like they've got the medium, which means they probably have shows. You know, like they must have. You think they have a whale podcast?
They're broadcasting right now. We just have to figure out how to tune in, brother.
It's a true.
Dude, can you imagine?
Pod.
Yeah, it's a podcast. Shut up!
Oh,
it's a demonym joke.
Yes.
Drop the mic, dude. We've got 8 minutes. What'd you guys think about some Starbelly Sneetches?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was gonna start.
Hit it.
And we've begun.
Dude, so Starbelly Sneetches, written by Dr. Seuss, and it was a book, and then they made an animated cartoon out of it in the 80s, I believe, and then they've made movies about it afterwards and stuff. Or not the Sneetches, but the Lorax got a movie made most recently about it. And what'd you guys think of the Sneetches? Who got a chance to experience the Sneetches?
Will you give us a summary?
Or whoever knows the Sneetches story. Yes, I'll tell you the story. Well, Bailey, would you please tell us the Sneetches story?
Sure. The Sneetches live on beaches. There are Sneetches with stars on their bellies, and there's Sneetches without. And there's this kind of better than attitude with those that have stars in their bellies. They throw parties, and the non-starred bellied aren't allowed to be there. And so then this like inventor, this gentleman comes into town, and he's like, "I can fix your problems here. Give me a little
Sylvester McMonkey McBean."
Yes,
I believe.
And he's like, "I'll give you, if you don't have a star, I'll give you one." And so it ends up being to where they kind of comfort in the differences, and that they're continuously either gaining stars or losing them to maintain that separate separateness. And then
McBean
he takes all their money, and they realize it doesn't really matter at all.
Too real.
You could
have a star on their belly.
Star.
Here's some frames from the machine that Monkey McBean would put through, and he was an out of towner, like a carpet bagger, and he would come and he would gather all their lather, and then he'd put them through the machine asunder, and they would come out and be plundered. But the now the Starbelly Sneetches had bellies with stars. The plain belly Sneetches had none upon theirs. Those stars weren't so big; they were really so small. You might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. But because they had stars, all the Starbelly Sneetches would brag. We're the best kind of Sneetches on these beaches. With their snoots in the air, they would sniff and they would snort. We'll have nothing to do with the plain belly sort. And wherever they met some, when they were out walking, they'd hike right past them even without talking.
See, now that's just it's unkind.
Rude.
It's unkind.
It is human exclusion.
It is unkind.
And it's
It's
weaponized
so-
against them.
Well, patterns.
They
though,
hate
they're looking for those patterns and determining whether you should be
Need something to
a
lever.
part of Mhm.
The dyad.
Because
We're
they're-
talking about the dyad.
That's right. They're not in union. They're not in good union. They're separated in their soul, and so the huckster can come from the outside and charge one to look like the other, and then do the other, and then they keep going. They take them on and they put them off, and he's just making piles of cash off this stuff. I think the lesson being that when you're divided, you're conquerable, and you can be taken advantage of. But in the end, they get to this. In the end, I didn't remember it as, in my imagination, McBean had multiple machines, and some of them had 2 stars rendered on the belly, and that's how I remember the story. It was like 2-star Sneetches, and then like they were all like, I need 2-star Sneetches. It's a status thing, right? And when I saw that as a kid, and I was like, oh my god. So someone's at school and was like, oh, do you have these kicks? And I was like, I'm no Starbelly Sneetch. Like it was like an inoculation against commercialism. It was an inoculation against comparing yourself to other people. Comparison's a thief of joy, is it not?
Also, I just love that McMonkey McBean at the end, he's laughing at his own genius. He's like, you can't teach a Sneetch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come
You
back
can't
and do
teach a
this
Sneetch.
next week.
Oh, this is a good point. Here he is. And he laughed as he drove in his car up the beach.
He's laughing.
They never will learn. No, you cannot teach a Sneetch. But McBean was quite wrong. I'm quite happy to say that the Sneetches got really quite smart on that day. The day they decided that Sneetches are Sneetches, and no kind of Sneetch is the best on the beaches. That day all the Sneetches forgot about stars, and whether they had one or not upon theirs.
Yay.
Dr. Theodore
Sneetches!
Gensel, I mean, man, what a true bard of our time.
Lived around the corner from my grandpa.
Oh,
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Hey,
Wow.
I learned something about babies in the womb and young babies, and I'd love to pass it on here to the young couple here. If you play like classical music that's like wah, 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 has all the tone ranges and stuff like that, in utero, in the womb is cool. But when they come out in the first 8 months, the brain is forming and deciding what frequencies it's going to pick up on. Babies exposed to classical music like that regularly form a tonality that's just next level. I heard Bento, that guy Bento online. He was talking about his kids. He had heard it as a theory, and he's a music guy. And so when he raised his kids, he would play the music for them. And now that they're teenagers, they can hear like the way he described it is a music theory I don't have, but there's like a tone, and then there's like a semitone, and there's like a tritone or something like that. They can hear to this nuts level that we don't even think like our Beethovens could hear to, and all it was for was having the right music being played, and then they just have perfect pitch because they got those vibrations into their head.
like does it stand to reason then that you could just like play the THX sound, the just on up and down? It might have the same effect.
Yeah.
I freaking love you, sir. And I have prepared the following sonic situation just for you. Prepare yourself for what we like to call in the business the shepherd sweep.
Yes.
An ever ascending tone that never stops ascending.
I have a haiku about it.
No, hit us with this haiku. Here's your
Okay.
pure tone.
shepherd tones charm us, never truly ascending. Sisyphean ruse. Sisyphean ruse, because you're never actually ascending. It's going to come right back down.
Wow.
Here's one that goes from high to low. I found an app that makes these. Here, we're going to go up. How about low to high? Who wants some low to high around here in these streets? Start very low. Here's all the tones.
Ooh, yeah. I feel like I want to lay on subwoofer that's playing this tone.
1000%. Why not?
How would that affect an ascension journey to be on what feels like an
Oh, shut up. That's perfect. Yes, that's it. That's clearly an Ascension soundtrack.
surprised it hasn't attracted cat. Oh no, it did. Hi, baby.
The schedule is wigging out. He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going
I
on?
understand.
It'll go away for different people at different times because different
Are we
people have
having the
a.
eclipse now?
The eclipse is happening.
Is it happening?
It's starting. Okay.
Are we the
So-
only one with sun that's still out?
Do we still
We're
have
just
sun out
gonna-
here, Love Duck?
We're just gonna duck over to our window here to see.
Okay, us too.
Okay, I'm gonna pump this. I'm gonna pump this in here. Oh no, we don't need more tones. There we go. Here we go. I'm gonna leave this up. Short break. Short break.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not up for us yet here over the building.
Where's my...
Somehow I mistimed this, and it's still an hour away. How did I do that? We'll fix it in a minute.
Okay.
Alrighty. Oh, we gotta activate the other dimension behind me here. There we go. Okay, so let me get some actual data on this. We're gonna go lunar eclipse timing tonight. All right. Eastern time begins at 10:33 p.m. Is it
So
peak
in an
at-
hour.
Okay, so right now it is 9:31. So it's an hour off. So this live stream we're watching is correct. And somehow eclipse begins. I thought it was anywho. I mean, if we were outside, we would have another hour to wait, so we'd have to just have another hour of great storytelling and enjoying our friends' company. And dudes and ladies, we have traveled so much territory here. Did you guys hear about the floods in Nepal that happened today? Totally. We had what happened is early this morning there was a glacier that held back a bunch of melted water, and it broke, and they are missing over 1,500 people in Tibet and Nepal, and the force of the water just took out whole villages, picked up rocks and stuff like that. There were horrific images. I was watching Sadhguru. He had a group that was traveling there of about 40 people, and they were all missing and not presumed gone. He was live this afternoon, and he was with his group of humans, and they were all crying, and he was just sitting there talking. He was crying, breaking down over it. So anyway, we could say a little prayer here for these sweet little humans on the full moon, because as we've been discussing, our consciousness touches theirs through this elaborate and wonderful field of consciousness. So I've been praying for these souls like all day. So if you guys don't mind, we'll say a little prayer here. O Holy Mother, Father God, Master Jesus and Mother Mary, bring your power, your light, and your grace to the people of Tibet and Nepal, to all of those that were affected, to all of their families all around the earth. Please, God, gather up into your arms all of this consciousness that was so quickly separated from its body, or that even might be afraid or scared in the surrounding area, and be with all of us. Be with everyone, that this tragedy may be healed, and comfort the hearts and the minds of everyone who's connected to all of these souls who are now likely beginning to experience your presence or coming into an awareness of their greater nature. Please guide them, please help them, and please see them through to a great place for each one of them. And anyone who's hearing us in the future, you just pray right along with us, because all time is now, and consciousness treats all time like it's now. So when you're praying with us later, you're praying with us now. God be with us. Bless our little tribe here. Bless our little clan. Bless all of our projects. Bless our bank accounts. Bless the Walcott's home and prepare it for arrival of little Walcott 2.0. Bless our families. Bless our hands, and bless any fingers that might have been injured out here in these streets. That life and energy and life force would flow through them, that our hearts and our minds would be aligned with you, and that we could receive your greater light. In your name this is done. In the name of the Creator, the Mediators, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Pour one out for Nepal, man.
Oof.
I know, right?
Hard
Somebody said name and pattern, and that's exactly right.
Mm.
They call me this. I'm in this location.
Mm.
This is the pattern I am, you know? You can say, when you say this, I'll know to respond because I'm close to this body right now. Not forever, but for now. You know? You get so many names. When I died, when I was 21, I was in the hospital with type 1 diabetes, and I had a 1,500 blood sugar. And the doctor who had served at the Mayo Clinic had said that he hadn't even read white papers of people who were above 1,200, and he couldn't believe I was awake and talking to people. And so I was just telling them about what I was seeing, and everyone was like, "Dear," because I was seeing God as a totemic ball of light, and I was definitely dead, and my but I was still talking to these people, and these loving beings came out of that. I call it God's front porch. Hey, love, can you on your book pull up the meeting beloved loved ones? It's called Reunion. It's one of the artworks that's in there, and this is exactly what I saw. And I'll pause here and let you find it. I don't have my copy with us, but anyway, the Ascension Manual. We will be offering the Ascension Manual to everyone for free on ascensionmanual.com. We are just putting the finishing touches on that. Anyone in the world is welcome to go there and download a copy of it and begin their shamanic pursuit. If you want one of these dope books, you're going to lay down $108, which is a harmonic number for many faiths, because we're all Christians up here in this house, and we love ourselves some Hinduism, we love ourselves some shamanism, we basically love anything that'll get people closer to God. And love, did you hear what I asked for, or you are working on it?
Yeah, I just was going to tell you the mother bear and her two baby bears were on our deck. I think they were just thirsty. I know.
Just
that's
thirsty.
where I was.
No! We have
Sorry.
to. We'll go scare them off here before too long.
Where is
maybe
it?
they get a free
remember?
sip. It is in the chapter on I believe it is in chapter 7, where we have extra journeys people can take, and we offer people a journey where they travel to their deceased loved ones.
Oh, okay.
And it's
Hang on.
so Okay,
When
no
you have a
problem.
book that's 498 pages, it's a beast. Hang on.
Okay, so anyway, I am in the presence of God, and these beings are coming out of God, these people, and the look of love that they have on their face for me, I know that they know me and they love me and they've known me from another time. These are like other souls that I have spent time with in eternity, and they love me, and they're like, everything's gonna be fine. Here's the porch of heaven.
So good.
Oh yeah.
It's like the greeting party when you cross the threshold, and that porch is kind of what we think of as the book. The book can really just get you to the porch and be like, knock right here, man. If you're looking for God or the Divine, divine, you knock right here. And so, but that's the whole thing about free will. To cross over into that transcendent experience, you have to really ask for it. Ask and it shall be given, knock and the door shall be opened, seek and you shall find, right? There's an active component to it, right? So that's the thing I always say in psychedelic circles. I've been trying to think about what I might say to the psychedelic conference if I give a little talk, and it might go like this. If you're looking for God on acid or MDMA or mushrooms or mescaline or whatever you're doing, ketamine, God bless you, whatever witch's brew you might be experiencing, you have to be knocking really hard because you're on a rough sea a lot of times of your own emotion and your own feeling, and you can get off. You can lose the plot a lot on there. But if you use that advanced state of consciousness and you are firmly knocking, wanting that connection with the divine inside, that's how you're going to find it. If you're looking for God and acid, make sure you knock. Make sure you don't just go into the hotel room and stare at the ceiling and just like, oh, I hope it finds me. Knock like crazy, man. Only if you're looking. Psychedelic Science is coming to this summer, this next summer, to the Denver area. Peter, you wanted to go to that thing. You want to come up here for a little field trip and go hang out at the Psychedelic Science place? You're muted. Are you muted?
Oh, we are. Yeah, that would be really cool, for sure.
Excellent.
Next summer?
It is this next summer. It is like the last month in like July or August or whatever. How about this? How about you throw little Walcott 2.0 in the car and you guys come and visit us, and we will put you up in an Airbnb over here somewhere, and you guys can have a little pad, and we'll get this all set up, and or something along these lines, and then we can go and hang out at the psychedelic conference. Does that sound like fun?
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Nice. I'll just ask you publicly on the internet if you want to come hang out with us. Yeah, right. Now, just so we're all clear, smokable DMT is legal in Colorado, as is mescaline, as is psilocybin, as is a cannabis, and they just put cannabis in Schedule 3 if you have a state medical card. So it is Schedule 3 if you have a state medical card, and they're pushing through stuff right now to kind of try to Schedule 3 it across the board for medical, if you've got medical in your state. And so that's good stuff. And so anyway, the reason why I bring this up is because the Psychedelic Science is it's just like 12,000 therapists that show up here, and their goal is to get to net zero trauma by like 2045 or something like that, 2050, something like that. Wow. And they're like, we've got the tech to reduce trauma out of the population. If we systematically apply this awesomeness, we're going to drain the population of its trauma.
Amazing.
Crazy stuff. Totally.
I mean, I'll subscribe.
Yeah,
I'm liking and subscribing right now.
Yeah, where do we sign up for the trauma-free life?
Dude, Lisette, Neon, would you guys come to a Psychedelic Science?
I would. That I had the pleasure of doing Psychedelic Science with you last year, Rev Paul, was so fun.
It's so much fun.
It absolutely made the experience for me. The way that you in your piñata costume light up a conference hallway, it was incredible. It was like a magnet.
I know about that, Peter. We've worn the piñata costume.
Yeah, we mobbed up with
Daniel.
Last bicycle day, or maybe it was bicycle day was the 19th of April, and then 420. On 420, Peter and Daniel and Lakshmi here, my sweet wife and I, we all dressed up as piñatas, and we went to this mushroom taste. We were mushroom judges for the psilocybin industry, for Shroomski. And Dude, the only thing I regret, first off, it was brilliant to dance and just hang out. And it was like, you think one pinata that glows in the dark brings joy. Wait till you get 4 in one place. It is like a magnitude of joy. We were just like, everywhere we went, it was that people were just like, what's going on? And we're like, you tell us. It was so much fun. Dude, the only thing I regretted, dude, for everything Shroomski is, Prude it is not. And so I drug these sweet little Christian boys, sorry Bailey, to this. I didn't know that's what I was doing. We go to this thing and they're doing a clothing show, and it's the most bawdy thing you've ever seen. And when I'm around if someone's like doing something bawdy in front of me, like, and I put body like we're watching a movie or something and these guys are kissing, I always like close my eyes, because I'm always like, I always want my neurology to be like intimate with my squeets and eats, you know. I don't want to introduce a lot of other sources to this feeling that I have, you know, but I get why people would. It's a beautiful feeling. So when people are being bawdy, I'm just closing my eyes. So for this fashion show, I have my eyes closed for like 75% of it. But at one point I open my eyes because something's wrong, and I look over and sweet Peter and Daniel are there, and they're like fucked up, and I'm like, and it's so chaotic, everyone's tripping, it's nuts. But afterwards, apparently some lady on the stage gave everybody the sunshine, pulled up her skirts, and it was just like, whoa, and it was just like,
the Anna Sarah Mai,
dude, our friend Daniel, I was like, you guys can close your eyes. I was like, you gotta close your eyes, dude. I was like, that way you can go to places where people are just disrobing in front of you randomly without any warning, and you can like navigate these waves and these situations. And they were like, you know, just like trying to keep their LEDs going and handling this overdose of shrooms they put us on. It was great. It was a great afternoon.
I'm sensing that Baby 2.0 needs a little tiny pinata costume. That feels like
oh shit! Baby pinata costume? That demands an Etsy store.
Surely we can find a baby pinata.
That would be a reason to start sewing, to make baby pinata costumes.
She'd be what,
dude, you'd run the world
old?
With that shit.
Yep.
That seems like
the
it
world.
also might give the wrong signal.
It's right. So, it's not very don't shake a baby, right?
Right.
It's like the opposite of don't shake a baby.
Yeah.
You should never shake a baby.
Okay.
Oh
baby
my gosh.
Pinata costume. I'm gonna tell you what, we done been beat to the punch, friends.
No, shut the front door. Holy smokes, that is amazing.
Yeah.
What the heck?
I love it.
That is so cool. That is the coolest. Oh my gosh.
I think that we have just come to the point where we have to start decreasing altitude and speed and try to land this space craft that we're on.
Yeah.
For the evening.
In 45 minutes, we will have the full moon, but we will be fully landed before there. I thought that one way we could go out here was, Neon, you have a beautiful poetry-based website here at neonmcgraw.com, and first off, I love the neon, just the straight neon here across the top. Beautiful.
Thank you.
The entire thing is poetry focused, and there is infinite poems in here. Here's a straight haiku to send us off to this full moon situation. The moon is active. Lunar highlands, Maria, have recently danced.
Yeah. I had read an article about how actually geologically still active the moon is, and how these great seas that, you know, like the Mar Tranquilitas, the Sea of Tranquility, right? Which in their plural, Maria. But yeah, they're just, it was so cool. Just to think of the moon not as a lifeless disk that is a 2D object, but as like a moving tactile place you can go to. Man, I love that shit. And I love writing poetry about it.
That is so beautiful. I've learned about these things called, they have a name for them. They're called like the jewels of something. But like in the split second on a full lunar eclipse, when the sun is passing over the last part of the moon, the mountains on the moon are so enormous that there's a brief second when some of the light gets you through the valleys of the moon, and it makes this bead effect on the edge of the moon, which shows that there's like mountains on the moon as it's like coming over. I think about that when you say these lunar highlands,
right?
The
highlands and the seas. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, friends, How about some final words of wisdom here from anyone before we shuffle off this mortal coil, and in about 45 minutes we watch this cool lunar eclipse in our own situations.
It's been great to have you with us, Bailey. I can say that.
Oh,
totally.
Thanks for hanging.
Totally say that.
Beautiful. We are gonna so next month, kids, let's do it the last Thursday of the month if we can. We'll be in there, and we will actually get around to discussing the encounters at the end of the world. The reason why I wanted to talk about that one, Neon, is because I love how Werner Herzog draws the mystic out of everyone he talks to down there. This guy is talking about, he's going on and on about all this stuff. He's also so acerbic, Werner Herzog. He's like, and other like abominations like aerobics classes and yoga classes. You're at the it's like he's just like the most caustic dude ever.
Yeah,
but
his delivery, love it. Yeah.
And they have these. I was just reflecting on it. There's these seal sounds, I think, that got us talking about it. But he records at length these sounds of these seals, which is like all of them ready, all the sounds ready next time. But it's like the most wild sounds, and it's just like mammals having an excellent time with the whole sonic situation that they're exposed to there.
Like us.
I'm
just like us.
I'm
a mammal.
A tripping.
I'm a mammal. It's tripping animals. Tripping animals. That's the next book, love.
Yeah.
Okay. Any final words of wisdom? You know what? We are so lucky to have each other. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Thank you for hanging out with us and for doing awesome, possum stuff. We are going to go out on classic 1990s UFO sightings. Everybody have a wonderful time.
Thank
you. Happy curiosity.
Curiosity engine.
All right, then. Let's hear it.
All right.
Night, y'all.
Night.
Money bad me home. Money bad me home.